Originally, I was going to try to wear different shirts for every video, but I'm wearing the same sweatshirt. I think I'm wearing it in another video, but it's my go-to comfy sweatshirt, and I'm going to be hanging out at Beaumont a lot today. Beaumont, Troy. So I'm in need for an update. So I think last update was Sunday, potentially. So Monday, when I went into work, I started my like, oh, I gotta eventually call and see about these appointments that are scheduled out far. But I was waiting for like the offices to open or whatnot. So I was like, well, I'll research this cold cap while, I'm waiting. So I look up cold cap, and it basically would have been like $2,050 based off of how many times I have to go get chemo treatment to potentially keep my hair. I can't remember what the percentages were that you keep your hair or lose your hair. I honestly don't even remember how it was phrased on the site, but it wasn't like a high enough percentage that I'm gonna gamble on 2 grand. I mean, 2 grand is a lot of money to save your hair, and like, if you want to pay that money to save your hair, I'm not judging you at all. But like, to me, I'm like, I would rather be bald and spend my 2 grand on making my FJ, putting some things on my FJ Cruiser. I would love some front and rear steel bumpers, but that's gonna run me probably about $2,500. So, hair or bumpers. So yes, so I am not doing the cold cap. I'm gonna lose my hair, but it is what it is. So then I did, like, after I decided I wasn't doing that, then I was gonna get ready to start, trying to call and figure out appointments. And before I could even do that, my patient advocate was calling me, Heather, very nice. And Heather was like, "So, some of your appointments," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was gonna call this morning because they're kind of far out there." So she said, "Well, do you mind if I just go ahead and call and rearrange all your appointments?" And I'm like, "Sure, go for it." And there wasn't any like, "Are there any days that don't work for you?" type of thing. The one thing I think that she was able to get me scheduled like while I was on the phone with her was my MRI. And originally I had nothing on Monday. So she was able to get my chest MRI with contrast scheduled Monday. I think it was at like 12:30 or something. So I was at the office. I had to leave the office to go take 5 home and then run up to Beaumont. So I was, sitting there, whatever. And then all of a sudden, my phone starts going off with all these text messages because all my appointments are being moved. And I am a very, like, I like have every, knowing what's coming. So, and scheduling. So, like, when all these started coming through, it was like, I don't know, panicky because I was like, oh my God, everything's changing. And now I have appointments all week long, and work wise, I need to figure things out. So there was a pretty much like Tuesday, I had 2 tests. Wednesday, or which is today, I have 2 tests. And then Thursday, I'm getting my chest port. So immediately I was like, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm now out of the office. So I blocked my calendar. Luckily, I only had to get like one thing covered for Wednesday. And then Thursday, I normally don't even have that many meetings because I'm on call for one of our clients. And so I just got somebody to take my on call basically. So that was good. And then yesterday, I had 2 tests, and they were spaced out enough that I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna work, and I will just change my Slack message to I'm away when I go to these doctor's appointments. So yeah, so that on Monday put me just already in this weird mood. I had to message 2 girls from work because on Tuesday I had 2 meetings that were client meetings, and I'm a manager of client services, so I'm like the person that talks to the client to plan. I'm doing all the stuff. So I messaged these 2 girls and told them that I kind of needed them to run the meetings for me. They were helpful, said they would do it, blah, blah, blah. So I leave, I go home, drop 5 off, run up to Beaumont, Royal Oak, and it's my chest MRI. So I go in, and mind you, I'm already in a mood. I'm in the waiting room, And I do not know why people think it's acceptable to have their sound on their phone. If you are watching this video and you're one of those people that do not turn your sound off when you are in a public place, shame on you, and I want to smack you in the face. I would actually like to kick you in the throat right now because that is so rude, disrespectful, and just shows that you're a selfish person and you don't think of other people. If you forget and it goes off once, totally understand. But if it goes off multiple times and you don't have headphones in or put them in and you don't shut it off, I feel like I should be able to go pick your phone up and throw it against the wall. So basically, every time I've been to the imaging center, which let's just be real, it's primarily women going in there for mammograms and like cancer related stuff. I mean, you do get other tests there too, but that's primarily what it is. There's been men that have their notification sounds up. So I'm sitting there, I'm already in a bad mood because I have all these tests this week and my life is just in an upheaval. And this dude's phone just keeps going off. And I'm just like, are you serious? I mean, it wasn't like crazy going off. It was like every so often. But like in my head, I literally pictured myself walking up to him, grabbing his phone, and we're at the second floor for imaging and throwing it over the balcony to the first floor. Like that's how annoyed I was. So like at one point it went off and I literally got up and moved to like the furthest seat away from this guy because I couldn't do it anymore. So luckily the lady came out to call my name right after that. So I go in and she's like, well, here's your bottom scrubs and your top. Change, I'll be right back. So I literally start texting my cousin at this moment because the bottom scrubs, I swear, were like little boys. And I was just like laughing because like I put them on and like I could put them on, but they were like almost capris and they had like this like hole in them where in the crotch kind of like area where I was like, these must be unisex or like boys can pee out of these because I'm like, I don't understand this. But like, I couldn't tie them properly. But like, if I folded them down to where that opening was, then I could like kind of whatever. So then I put the top on, which is like 3XL, because they don't have smaller sizes. I heard at one point that because I remember when they used to have different sizes and it was different colors based on what size you were. And I asked one time when I went for a mammogram why they were all huge. And they had told me it was because overweight people felt like they were being called out because theirs were a different color. Come on. So now, us people that are like, I don't know, smaller, I like literally put the thing on, tie it as tight as I can, and I still feel like I could just bloop out of it because it's so big on me. But whatever. So I put these on and I'm like, oh, this is just funny. So I'm texting my cousin and I'm like, it's nice that they think I'm skinny, but I'm like, I literally have like little boys pants on with like an over large top. So I'm just like dying. So then the nurse comes back and I'm literally just laughing. And I'm like, do you have other pants? I'm like, I can't wear these. I'm like, I appreciate you thinking I'm this tiny, but they're kind of like uncomfortable. So she told me that all they had were like, I think 2XL in the pants. And I was like, give them to me. I'd rather be walking around in clown pants than these tight things floods that I have on right now. So that happens, and then she goes to like put the IV in, and she tries to do my right arm because my left arm is like being punctured so much, and it hurt so bad. Like she put it in, and I could still feel this like pinching, sharp pain anytime she moved it, and then like tears just start streaming down because I'm already in a mood, and then I'm literally like saying to her like, I'm so sorry. I normally don't cry like this, but I just have had a day and blah blah blah. So she switches back to the left arm, and it still hurt when she put it in, which I've noticed. Some nurses, they can put a needle in, and you're like, oh, that was barely nothing. Others, you're like, are you killing me? Are you kidding? So I'm very thankful for you nurses that know how to just bleep, and it's like a tiny, tiny little prick, and you don't even notice. So she puts the IV in. The contrast wasn't in yet, and then we go into the MRI room. Why are they so cold? It literally felt like I was in a refrigerator. And so I'm like joking when I walk in there and I'm like, oh my God, it's like a fridge in here. Could it be any colder? So then they have me get up on the MR machine and there's two holes where I put the girls through. And so like it has this padding, which was comfortable, but freezing. So I lay down and I literally go, Jesus Christ, who designed this thing? It's freezing cold. And one of the nurses goes, a man. And I just was like laughing. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is hilarious. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So then, they put me in the MRI machine, which I've had plenty of MRIs. It doesn't bother me, the noises. I mean, you just kind of sit there and it's like donk, 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 blah, 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 and then you're just like waiting. So I'm in the machine and then they're like, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, we're putting in the contrast. And it was weird because you could like feel it pushing through your system. Like it didn't feel hot or cold, which I think I've heard that you can feel either. But I just felt like the actual, like, I guess, pressure from the fluid coming in. So then I had like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then I was done. So I leave that and I go out into the parking lot. And earlier I had like messaged my boss and said that everything was just so crazy. I literally just wanted to scream. And she was like, well, do it, but make sure you don't have your dog with you so he doesn't freak him out because he gets scared over weird things. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. So it's like I get in my car, I'm parked, I don't even start it, and I just yelled Fuck as loud as I could. And then I look and there's a guy like walking past my car, and I just started laughing because I'm like, he totally heard me yell that. There's no way. So yeah, it helped a little. I felt better. And so then I drove home and worked for the rest of the day, which wasn't too bad. So that was that. So then yesterday, Tuesday, I had two tests. Not two tests. I had chemo class, and then I had my echogram. I always say ecogram, but it's echo. Not like the eco. I think of the Ghostbusters eco wagon or something like that. Oh, is it echo wagon? I don't know. Either way, leave it in the comments, whatever it's called, because I'm not going to look it up later. But so I go for chemo class. So Melissa picks me up for that because she's the best, and she's like my health provider, carer, giver now or something. I don't know. I just made her that, but so we get to chemo class. They do my vitals or whatever, and then we get into the room. Very nice PA, I think it was, that was going through everything with us, and she actually made me less scared. It was nice, and I'm actually hopeful. And I don't know if I'm being stupid by being hopeful, but so she said that basically, when I'm getting chemo, like they're getting for the treatment, it's going to be about, I think, 3 to 4 hours is what she had said. Now that I'm not doing cold cap. Cold cap, you had to stay like an additional amount of time, which another thing, it's like, once I'm done with chemo, I'm just going to want to go home. I don't want to sit there for an hour and a half to come down from the cold cap or whatever the situation was with that. So I'm actually kind of okay with losing my hair. So, yeah. So she said I won't feel like anything really when I'm getting treatment. I should be fine. So I was glad about that, because the thing I was like is that's going to suck if you feel like crap while you're getting treatment, unless I have a side effect. Because like you're sitting there for 3 to 4 hours. Like I don't want to feel like crap while I'm sitting there. I'm fine with the after effect thing. If it is like how my aunt said, where she said it felt like a bad case of COVID, fine with that. So she said that, and then said that the first time I have chemo, I may not even notice really that much of a difference in how I feel. Like I may just need to take like a nap each day or something. I might be more tired. But she said I may not even have like horrible side effects. But then, warned me it will get worse over time. So I'm hopeful that the first time it won't be too bad. So my first chemo treatment is May 7th. So next Thursday. I don't even know what to think about it, honestly. But yeah, so I think that was like, I can't even remember any specific questions, honestly, that we asked anymore. Again, my friend took great notes, so I have a like Google Doc with all the information that she had on there. But it's like I was just really listening for like the normal stuff that I'd be concerned with, like how am I going to feel during the thing and all that good stuff. Oh, she did mention that therapy dogs come into the chemo room. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to hoard whatever dog that comes in that day. So I'm like super excited about that. And then Melissa asked, like, which I thought was funny, but I'm glad she did, what the most common days for chemo treatment are. Thursday is not one of them, which is the day I'm doing, which I'm glad. I'd rather go on a day that's not common. And then she said that, like, kind of jokingly, that if I get there early enough, I'll like have a favorite seat and I'll want to pick it out every time. And she said probably that the back corner would be the seat that I would pick. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like me. I really want to pick seat 5 for my dog's name. But seat 5 is literally the most visible, and like the hallway is like where all the nurses go and everything. The seat 5 is like right here. So I'm like, I don't want to be seat 5 because I'm literally like the center of attention. And while I think I'm entertaining and I could potentially entertain everybody else at chemo, I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to do back corner for my first treatment. Just because, I don't know. I think I'm just going to watch a movie. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Play Animal Jam for a little bit. But, so yeah, and I'm just going at 8 a.m. because I want the first appointment because I might as well get it over with and be done for the day. Plus, I'm up at either 4:30 or 5 a.m. every morning. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's happening. So might as well just do it and be done. So I think those were like the basic things that I learned. Yeah, and then I did make sure for my Connor Price concert that I'm going to that we can shift that one, and she said that's fine. So when I go to my first chemo treatment, we'll do the scheduling for the rest of the stuff. So I think it was like about an hour there. It wasn't too bad. And then I had my Signatera test with me because I was supposed to have an at-home blood draw today, Wednesday. But then I had appointments that got shifted to today. So when I was there for the MRI, I happened to be telling the lady about the Signatera test and how I had to like get a hold of the person. And I left them a message Monday saying that I needed to move the appointment. And I didn't hear from them by like almost end of day yesterday. So I ended up calling and just canceling at that point because the MRI nurse told me to just bring the box with me when I was going for my other test and somebody would draw the blood because she was like, if you had it right now, I would do it for you. So I took it with me when I went to the chemo class. They drew the blood for me there. But then it was weird because we left and then I get a call that they can't mail it because they weren't the people that ordered it or something. And so I was really confused by that. But so I was like, oh, cool, we're not even out of the parking lot. We'll swing around. I'll run in and grab the test. So I go in and it's literally just the box, like how I had, given it to them to take the stuff out. So I asked the lady, I'm like, do I just like put this in the envelope and drop it off? And she's like, well, let me ask the lab. So then she takes me back to the lab. And the lab lady's like, oh, well, no, you don't do it like this. You got to put this in here and this in here. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then she just starts doing it for me, which is, I think, literally what they were saying they couldn't do, but realized I didn't know what I was doing. And she did make a comment like, something like, this is why you need to stick with, like, the home if you're doing the home. And it wasn't like super snippy, but like I said back to her, like, I was trying to, but all my appointments got changed and they weren't calling me back. So I was told to just bring it in somewhere. So no big deal. I ended up dropping it off at the Walgreens because they had a FedEx drop off and it's in the air now. We'll deliver to California today. So yeah, that was that. So after chemo class, I got dropped off at home, worked for a little bit, and then I had to go back to Beaumont at like I think I had to be there at like 12:30 for my echogram. So I go there, I check in, and the guy was like kind of training somebody, and he sent me in this one area. And they were at lunch, so they were all just like getting back. So then I go up to the desk when the lady's there, and I'm like, oh, am I supposed to? I think I'm supposed to like check in here too. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I don't have your name in the system. And I'm like, I literally just checked in and it had me. So then she looks and she's like, oh, you're supposed to be in, I think it's like Ernest something. And then she's like, number 1. And I'm like, there's another one of these? And so I was like, okay. So then I just had to like go down the hall to another area. So then I get in there and I was sitting like maybe 5 minutes and then they call me back. And I just have to tell you, the heart stuff is so fascinating. Like I'm literally laying on the table like this, watching the monitor because it's so cool to see like your valves moving and everything. And but of course, like in my head, I'm like, why does that one look different? That one's a little more flappy. Is that one supposed to have a little thingy on it? And I'm not asking any of these questions, but like in my head, I'm like, ooh, woo. And then they show like the colors on the screen. And I'm like, why is there yellow? There's a lot of red and blue, but why is yellow in there too? So I did eventually ask what the colors were. And she said that was like the flow of blood, which was kind of cool. And then it's neat when you hear the sound of the heart. I get why babies like the heartbeat for sleeping. It was very soothing. Like as I'm sitting there, I'm like, can I have a recording of my heart? Like I would like to listen to this when I go to bed. Like it just sounds so nice. Um, so yeah, so I got that done, left there, and came back home and I think worked for a couple more hours. I had my results by the end of the day. I had hit my chart, and from what I understand, my heart is just the greatest. So no heart issues. So now they have the baseline to look as I'm going through chemo treatment. So this morning, I had to drop 5 off at daycare, and then I had to bloop 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 out to Beaumont Troy. I got there, it was raining. Like, really? It's gotta be raining. As I'm like, why? Luckily, I had an umbrella in my car because I wasn't sure if I did at first. So I go in, I check in, and literally, like, I sit down. I'm like 20 minutes early for my appointment because I'm always early. So I get my iPad out, like, oh, I'll play some Animal Jam. And then the lady's like, Emily? Like, oh, okay. So I go into the room for like the dye, and she's like, oh, you're here later today too. And I was like, yes, I live at all the Beaumonts now. So she at first was gonna like try to put the dye in my hand, and it did not work. It like she said it blew out or something, which means it like goes outside of my vein. My hand hurts now. So I don't know what that means, but like I can kind of see where it's like puffy and colored underneath this bandage, and so I'm not taking it off because it literally grossed me out when I saw like it puffed up where the dye was. So then she ended up doing it here, but she was trying not to because I literally like the IV hole was still not open, but like from yesterday. So she wasn't going to do it. But then, like I said to her, that the lady downstairs had told me for the CT scan, I'm drinking the dye. So she was like, oh, okay. So she did that. And it's 8:55. I need to be back at Troy at 10:15. So I drove home because it's like, what else am I going to do? So I'm gonna hang out here for a bit, go back to Beaumont, have the bone scan, and then I'm free again until gotta be back there at 2:30, so like 2:15. So I'm gonna go to the Polish market because I hadn't gone in a while because I used to live really close to it, and they have the best hot food ever. And I think they put it out at 11. So if my bone scan's at 10, I'm hoping that when I get to the Polish market, the hot food's out already, because I am going to get me some hot food from the Polish market. I am looking forward to this. It's so freaking good. I'm going to buy myself some treats from the Polish market. I do need to look up what kind of snacks people like eating when they're doing chemo treatment, because what I've read, because I'm not really having much of an appetite, that I need to like snack a lot, so that way it's like I'm still like getting something. I don't know. I kind of googled it last night, and but like I was like I woke up at like 1 in the morning, and I was like, oh, what kind of food snacks should I have? And I started looking, and then I was like, I'm tired, and went to bed. So yeah, I'm gonna go get some snackies. But tomorrow is my port, chest port placement, whatever, and that's gross. I had an instructional video to watch about that, and it's a skin pocket that they put the chest port in. Ooh, so weird, so bizarre. I am not here for this. And there was one thing in the video where it was like asking, like, will you be able to see the chest port? And they were like, well, if you're overweight, you won't even notice it. But if you are smaller, you'll see it. And I'm like, great. Because, like, I have, like, no extra padding, like, in these areas. And this is, like, where the chest port is going to be. So I'm like, it's going to be, like, a bump. I don't know. But I ordered these little pillows that go on your seatbelt. They're, like, I think this big. And they strap around it to, like, help it so it doesn't, like, push against it. So Melissa's going to take me to that tomorrow morning, and after we're done, which the lady at the chemo class said that doesn't take long to get that surgery. We're gonna go get breakfast in Grosse Pointe since I have to go to the Grosse Pointe Beaumont. So my tour will be complete of the Beaumont system. And that's pretty much it. So I have today, tomorrow off. Friday I'm gonna work, but we only work half days on Friday. One of the girls was like, "Why are you working on Friday?" And I'm like, "It's a half day. Like, why not?" Because I'll go into the office Monday, Tuesday next week. But then I don't know if I'll be back in the next Monday because it depends how I feel after the chemo stuff. But yeah, first chemo next Thursday. I think based off what I figured out, I'm projected to be done with chemo. Moving that one appointment because of the concert. I think the first week in September will be my last treatment. That's my guess right now. So based on that, 4 to 6 weeks out, my surgery should be in October. My birthday's in October, where I'll be turning 50. So I'm kind of hoping that like the surgery's before that. So even if I'm recovering, I took 2 weeks off around my birthday, and I'm planning on going to Wall Drugs and Mount Rushmore with my friend Mr. Ted. He was going to rent an RV and we were going to travel out there. So I'm still planning on trying to do that. I think that will be a good, like, I'm done with chemo, I got my surgery, and then I believe probably when I get back from that, I would start radiation. So good news is most of the heavy costs are going to hit my insurance, which I met the deductible, so everything's 100% covered this year. So I'll still have like stuff next year and like follow ups, but at least the chunk of everything is gonna hit. I mean, I do realize that I just got to pay my deductible again next year, which I'm probably gonna hit. I mean, realistically, based off of how much this stuff all cost, I'm definitely gonna end up paying my deductible again next year. So, even though like medical bills are like you don't get interest on it and you can do payment plans. I don't like owing things because I used to be really bad with like an in debt, and then I did debt consolidation, got out of it. So now I just have this mentality like I want to pay off everything. So I'll have to start like putting some money aside to pay for my deductible next year because I have HSA, but because of my deductible this year and even like my vulva surgery from last year, I'm still paying that with my HSA, and I don't think it's really gaining money. It's just leveling out each monthly payment that goes out. So, fun times, let me tell you. But I'm keeping a positive attitude. My boss asked me last night when she called me to check in on a scale of 1 to 5 how I was feeling. And it's like, I don't even know how to do that, but 3 because I'm kind of midway. Like, I have moments where I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm dreading everything about this. But I'm trying to keep my positive, sarcastic attitude because I can't get rid of my complaining, sarcastic nature. But I want to be positive in general because I don't want to become that person that's like so depressed and woe is me. Like, I get it if you feel that way, nothing against that, but I don't want to be that way because I then people don't know how to talk to you. They just kind of stop because there's nothing they can say to make you feel any better because you're just so down in whatever. And I don't want to live that way. Like, I'm going to keep as active as I can be. I'm going to get help when needed. Like for instance, the chest port. I'm not allowed to lift anything over a gallon of milk. And I swear it said a week, but I'm hoping tomorrow they're like, oh, a few days. So, like, Mr. Ted's going to go with me to run to the grocery store this weekend so I can get stuff for next week after chemo. Because if I do feel crappy, I know what kind of stuff I like eating. So, I'm going to get some of that stuff. And I need to get a thermometer because mine's like a baby thermometer you stick in your ear and the battery's dead. Because I gotta watch like if my temperature goes over 100.4, I have to call or something. And I never have temperatures, but I also am like, oh, it feels warm. I don't know. So I had to get a thermometer. I had to go pick up some Aleve because my bones are gonna hurt. Even though the Claritin is supposed to help with that, they said I could take Aleve too. and Imodium, because apparently chemo can like mess up your bathroom stuff. So that's it's just so much fun. I mean, loss of appetite, loss of hair. Oh, speaking of loss of hair, they said 2 to 3 weeks after the first treatment is when you start losing the hair, I think. My cousin already messaged me the day of my chemo class and was like, can we start looking for wigs for you? And it was so funny, but I was like, oh, I gotta wait and get my wig script, which I'm assuming I'll get that my first chemo treatment, because she did say that she would give me a wig script, and I was like, and we can go shopping for wigs then. Yay, what fun. Yeah, so I'm hanging in there, and we'll see what's next. I mean, the biggest thing will be that port tomorrow is what I'm kind of like ugh about. Honestly, I think I'm just getting more about the port than I am the actual chemo. So I don't know, but that's that, and yeah, see y'all later.